Rob.
Tony.
And I'm Jeff.
We're in gaming.
And that's you.
Hello gamers and welcome back to the And I'm Rob, of course, or Warshack if you want to call me by my in-game name. And a very common comment we've been receiving is, hey, I'm not sure which new Old Gods Legendary to craft. Could you guys make a list of what you think is the best, which one's the worst, and, you know, the order at which I should craft them or disenchant them, which we've already made the disenchant guide. If you want to know that, the annotation will be on some side of the screen, I'm not sure. But today we're going to be talking about the top 5 Old Gods Legendaries that you should look to craft if you're in the mindset of building one of the particular decks one of these new legendaries fits in. So let's go ahead, we'll go to the Old Gods, we'll type in legendary, and we will look at each legendary. Keep in mind that we're going to pick 5 due to the fact that 5 seems to be a pretty good number, and the fact that there isn't much more than that. Along with, they're not in any particular order, I'm just going to go through them as the pages see them. So here, let me pull up my list I've got here. So first, we're going to start off with, keep in mind though that some legendaries, if they're not in the list, can still become, they're still good, but they're just not as good or aren't being played as much right now to their fullest potential, because I only can go by what's in the meta. So if a card springs up in 3 months from now and it becomes really, really good, and it's not in this video, it's not because I, you know, Rob, what'd you miss this for? It's like, you know what, this was 3 months ago. Look at the published date of the video, my friends. Not saying you're gonna do this, but you know, we've received a few comments in the past, and it's like, bro, this video was made over a year ago, you know, think life moves on, things change, you know, it's just one of those things. So first legendary we're gonna cover is Fandral, my bad. Surprisingly, when people looked at him, they knew he was going to be good, but they didn't realize how good he was going to be in the Druid class. And over this past weekend, if you happen to watch the tournament that was, I'm not sure which one, it's like the HCL or something like that, that was hosted on Twitch, Druid was a very popular class, but more specifically this like token aggro mid-range Druid that people were bringing that revolved around, I wouldn't say Fandral specifically, but it had a lot of the choose option cards in it. So if Fandral did come out, depending on when he came out, you could combo him with Nourish and then Raven Idol, and you just generate so much value by getting mana crystals, you're drawing cards, you're being able to choose multiple things at once. He's like an auctioneer kind of for the choose one cards, because you're getting both benefits, while auctioneer normally you get the effect of a card and you draw a card. So instead of drawing a card, you're getting 2 effects. Kind of a stretch there to compare him to auctioneer, but the value of him is in comparison to auctioneer, where if he stays on the field, you're going to probably win that game if you can actually combo him out with some of the cards like Nourish, like I mentioned, and Raven Idol. There's a few other like Wrath and stuff, but you get the point. So if you're looking to play Druid, Fandral is your guy. He's really, really good. On turn 4 by himself, probably not the best card to play as you want to combo him out. So let's say you can innervate him out on 2 and you know your opponent may not have an answer to him right away, then that's acceptable. But you just got to play it by ear depending on who your opponent's against. Definitely a really good legendary there. Keep in mind that none of these are any particular order. We're just going down the list. So yeah. The next one is Ragnaros the Light Lord. He's found in basically every single Paladin deck you're going to go against besides Aggro Paladin. He fits well in mid-range. That hardly exists right now, but it's there. And he's also found in the infamous N'Zoth Paladin, which is also one of the cards in our legendary list that you should look to get. But for now, Ragnaros the Light Lord, he's an 8-drop 8/8 at the end of your turn, restore 8 health to a damage friendly character. So whether this be your hero or whether this be a friendly damaged minion on the field, he can do either or. It's kind of random, just like the normal Ragnaros that does 8 damage to your opponent, whether it be a creature or their face. It's not up to you, it's up to Rag. Normally Ragnaros works out pretty well, but let's say you have like a 1/1 on the field that was a 1/2 and it heals him for 1, even though he could have healed your face for 8. You know, things happen. But for the most part, he's a really solid card, especially late game when your opponent, if they don't deal with him, he just compounds that heal for 8 every single turn. And on top of that, he's an 8/8 body. So like, let's say you're at full health, right? And you swing him into like a 5/5 or a 5/4 or something like that. He's going to heal himself at the end of the turn. So he's back to being a normal 8/8. So your opponent can't really effectively, you know, like bash him at the end of the turn because he only has 3 health. No, he goes back to 8. So if you're looking to play Control Paladin, this is your guy. Definitely a great card. Keep in mind though, let's say you're looking to play, I don't know, Hunter, and you really want the Hunter Legendary, go ahead. I'm not stopping you from, crafting the Hunter Legendary. I'm just saying that it's really not being played a ton right now. It's probably not that competitive and not that good in the meta. But if that's what you want, go ahead, do what you want. This is a card game, this is a fun and interactive card game. And if you want to do that, this is only like kind of a foundation for you guys to build off of. Don't get mad at me if your favorite card's not in the list. It's like, my bad, bro. It's not that great right now. Just keep that in mind. This is all up for... to debate depending on what decks you want to play. Obviously, if you don't want to play any of the legendary decks or the legendary cards I go over, that the decks they fit into, you don't want to do that, that's okay too. Just keep in mind, I'm trying to avoid all those comments that we've received in the past. I'm trying to cover all my bases, guys. The next one is going to be Zandril. He's a 4-drop. Hopefully I said that right. I just call him the poison bug dude, but that's just me. Zeril, there we go. Thanks, Tony. I just call him the little poison bug. Zandril. I mix Fandril and Zeril together. That's okay. He's Bug Boy. He does what he wants, and he looks pretty badass too. But anyway, a little bug boy. He's a 4-drop 3/2, so not the best in stats, not the best in costs. Definitely some value mix up there. But what makes him really strong in the road class is his Battle Cry and Death Rattle add a random toxin card to your hand. So a lot of people were saying this card's going to be really bad before he came out. A lot of people said he's going to be amazing. It turns out that 99.9% of the rogue decks that will go against on ladder and that we're seeing in the tournament has this card in it. So whether that's an indicator of how good he is or not, I don't really know. It sounds like a pretty good card to me if like everybody's playing him. That was sarcasm. He's good. And what makes him good is not the stats, obviously. It's the toxins you get from him. So if you get a one drop toxin, which I've seen so many times, whether it's the deal 3 damage, add 3 attack to your champ or to a particular minion on the board, return a minion to your hand, or even give a minion stealth, in combination with Auctioneer, having these 1-drop spells is crazy. Also, there's the draw 1 card, of course, but just having these 1-drop spells fuels your Auctioneer, gets that combo activator if you're looking to, use an SI agent or something like that, or an Eviscerate. So overall, really solid card, found in almost every single rogue deck. If you're looking to play rogue, especially, Miracle Rogue, this is your guy. Malkorok, he's one of our, 0.5 people, so we'll cover him at the end. I actually have 3 legendaries at the end that didn't really meet our top 5, but are being played and are seen, and I'll also talk about why they didn't really meet our top 5, but they're not bad at all. So now we covered 3 so far, so we're going to talk about the twins. This guy is found in basically every single Cthulhu deck. He's a 7-drop 4/6, so his stats suck, but his battle cry is what makes him good. He says, if your Cthulhu has at least 10 attack, summon another Emperor, which is basically another 4/6 with taunt. So essentially for 7 mana, you're getting an 8/12, and an 8/12, and both of them have taunts. If you have Bran on the field, you get 3 of these guys. So that's quite a bit of value for only 7 mana. Some people are calling him the new Dr. 7. He's not quite as good as Dr. Boom because that card's just absolutely fucking broken. But this card, it's good. It has requirements. You get a lot of value out of him. I think it's fair. Good card if you're looking to play Cthulhu. As we know, Cthulhu was given to us for free at the start of the the Whispers of the Old Gods, release. So everybody should have their Cthulhu if you're looking to play Cthulhu decks. Twin Emperor definitely fits in there well and is a card that you should grab if you haven't already, and if you're looking to play, the Cthulhu decks. The last card we went over, that's our 4th one. N'Zoth is our last card. As we've seen, basically every single class type can play a N'Zoth version of their deck, whether it be Death Rattle Rogue, Death Rattle Hunter, Death Rattle Paladin. The only one I haven't really seen, I think, is Death Rattle Warrior, and it could, in fact, be good. Who knows? But anyway, N'Zoth has made his way into tons of decks, and they've proven to be really good as they've been brought to the past couple tournaments over the course of the past couple weeks. I said past many times. Anyway, definitely a great card. Changes games. Turn 10 comes along, 2 or 3, even 1 or 2 Death Rattles have died. If one of them, let's say, is a Tyrion, you're basically getting your Tyrion back and a 5/7 on board. So depending on the one card you summon, it could be value in itself just to bring back one card. But most of the time, you're looking to bring back at least 2 to 4 Death Rattle minions that have died previously in the game. The decks normally are built around N'Zoth and are fairly control-oriented. So if you're looking to play some of those mid to late game decks that revolve around, of course, Death Rattles, N'Zoth is your boy. The decks, again, have proven to be pretty competitive from what we've seen in the past couple tournaments that have been hosted on Twitch. So let's go into the cards that did not make the cut. So to go over really quickly, the cards that we went over is Fandril, Rag, Zandril, or Fandril, Rag, Bug Boy, Twins, and N'Zoth. Those are our top 5. Going into the 3 that didn't actually make the cut is Yogg. So everybody talks about Yogg. Is Yogg worth playing? Is Yogg this, Yogg that? Yogg is a complete RNG card. Yogg could win you the game every single time you play him. Theoretically, he could. And he could also lose you the game every single time you play him. So he's completely RNG based. There's no telling what he's going to do next, which makes him not very consistent. And consistency is what makes a card good. If you consistently play a card and it performs well, the card is good. But if you can play a card and the outcome is completely random, there's no consistency, so you can't, in my mind, say the card is really, really good or really, really bad, because the variance in that is huge. So Yogg, definitely a really cool card to craft if you're looking for those kind of, I wouldn't even say gimmicky, I would just say, you know, maybe good decks, but not as competitive or as consistent as maybe like a N'Zoth deck. The other card I was looking at, not Boogie Monster, you go down. No, not you. Saigoth is still there. So this guy, a lot of people overlook this guy. They're like, oh, 9-drop, 5/9, stats suck, has taunt, okay, can't be targeted by hero powers or spells. The thing is, this guy shits on Rogue. Like, if you play this guy against a Rogue, you instantly win, basically. They can't sap him, they can't evis him, they literally have to play like one of their biggest minions, maybe like a, what's his name, the Tomb Pillager, and they have to use their, what is it called? The 1-drop, give a card +4 attack. Cold Blood. So they basically have to use 2 of their cards, if they have those and they haven't used them already, to kill Saigoth, or Saigoth. So really good against particular classes, especially against Warrior as well, against aggro. Fits well into Control Priest. I've seen him into Control Warrior. So don't overlook this guy at all. If you're really interested in playing those control, late game oriented decks, don't overlook this guy. He actually could come in clutch. And on top of that, he takes your opponent by surprise, right? Like, your opponent could, in fact, not have any way to deal with this guy whatsoever. But be careful of Sylvanas. Everybody's running Sylvanas, and if they whip out Sylvanas and you've got this guy on the field, you fucked. All right, and our last card that we've seen a tidbit at the tournament, but again, is just so random, is the Malkarok. He's a 7-drop, 6/5. We went over a guide on this guy of the weapons he can possibly bring out, and the percentages of those weapons, and the percentages of what particular weapon that he could give you out. So I'll actually throw that in the annotation as well on the side if you want to take a look at that. But for the most part, again, he's not a bad card. He just didn't make it in our top 5 list because it says Battlecry equipped a random weapon. Curse Blade is a random weapon that you could get. Curse Blade lost a guy. I lost this particular, I don't remember the names, but he was playing against Reynad, and Reynad was able to deal like 32 or 36 damage in one turn. Yeah, double Rockbiter on his Doomhammer to do 36 damage or some crazy amount in one turn because this guy had summoned a Cursed Blade. If this guy was never played and you play a Gorehowl instead of this guy, that would have never happened. The guy could have won. But because he played this card, and because Cursed Blade came out, he lost. And in my mind, if you can play a card and lose because of that card, like, that's crazy. Like, 7-drop, this needs to create some sort of value. Most of the time he does. Granted, most of the time, you know, sometimes you get lucky. And there's going to be comments, Malkarok's the best card ever, blah, blah, blah. You know, he's good sometimes. He's really, really bad sometimes. So that's why he's not our top 5. He is good. He's up there, but he's just not top 5, guys. So you just calm down with all that, you know. Don't be a silly goose. That's what I'm trying to get to. So, with all that said, hopefully you've enjoyed. If you disagree with our top 5, don't get angry. Just let me know what you think should have been the top 5 in the comments section below, as I really look forward to actually reading the comments that you guys kind of bring to the chat. It gives me insight past what me and Tony discuss, and it also gets some interaction down there. So, as always, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. I'm Warshack, and happy whatever the hell day it is.